Alright, wanted to make another build video today. This is what I call the blinding Barbarian, because he's using Last Wish with the hits blind target. I'm using silence as well. One thing about silence is you would assume hit causes monster to flee 25% would be really annoying, but it actually barely causes them to flee with this setup because they're getting blinded so much and they're getting stunned by the twisters from the Carrion Wind Ring. Another main thing about this is I'm using Lava Gout so that I don't have to use a Demon Limb to enchant, but it's 10 levels lower than using a Demon Limb. If I use a Demon Limb to enchant, let's see how much attack rating I have. If I use a Demon Limb, I get almost 14,000. When this enchant goes off, I get around 11,000 something, 11,500, close to 12,000. So it's actually not as bad as I thought. Having these on is pretty convenient, and then after realizing that damage to demons is really not as effective as you would think it is, and then I got 75 all res on the silence sword. I don't really need these. This has 24 fire res also. Adds a little bit of damage too and everything. I think this is just a cool little build. One thing that I think I might swap these out for is a pair of blood gloves, crafted blood gloves with 20 IAS and then maybe like 10 crushing blow, 3 life leech, a couple other useful stats. I was crafting some last night and I didn't get any 220s. Any 20 IAS ones. I got a pair of 10 IAS ones that had like 25 magic find and a couple other things, but I didn't really care about those. Plus they had a level requirement of like 94 or 95, which is kind of crazy. I'm only level 89 on this particular character. My highest level is 92. So yeah, just gonna show you this build for a minute. I think that it's kind of cool just having the 2 weapons that blind the enemies, and then on my mercenary I decided to put Lawbringer. I put the Wolf Howl on him just because he doesn't have enough dex and I didn't want to give him my Ariet's face. If he had enough dexterity I probably would throw the G-face on him just so he could hit a little bit harder. I was putting Death Colossus Blade on him, but he just misses so many attacks and stuff, and I think him being able to attack a little bit faster using this and also having the aura knocking some of those pesky enemies back is going to be pretty useful. I don't want to make this video go as long as my assassin one did, so let me just show a little gameplay with it, and then I'm going to edit and cut some parts into it, like fighting bosses and things of that nature. But aside from that, hope everybody's having a great day. It's snowing over here in Atlanta right now, so I don't know how long that's going to be going on. I don't know if we're going to get a power outage or anything of that nature. One thing I noticed when I logged on this morning though is that they said January 19th that there's going to be server maintenance, and I'm really hoping that's the 2.4 PTR where we can test all the new changes coming to the game as far as balance. As far as those Amazon changes, those Necromancer changes. They said they're going to be making some changes to the Barbarian as well, which will be cool because that's my favorite character. They said they're going to be making some changes to the Assassin. I'm not sure how much that's really going to change, like with the finishing moves instead of like in charge up skills, because shit, maybe you'll be able to kill Ubers and bosses even faster with her Dragon Talon and stuff like that, and maybe some of the other attacks will be viable. And I've only really used the meta assassin build with the Dragon Talon, just kicking enemies because it doesn't miss. But here I am not playing and just sitting here talking. I don't know, that's one of the things I like about the Diablo content. I feel like there's a lot of open room for discussion. Another thing about this build is the Carrion Wind. In addition to the 2 swords, the Carrion Wind is stunning the enemies as well. See how these archers get knocked back? That's really useful because even if I'm in Chaos Sanctuary and there's an enemy trying to decrepify us, that knockback's gonna delay him. So that's why I think it's cool That's the reason you can't get the Sanctuary R on any other mercenary, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think I will eventually get some blood gloves. I might eventually get some blood gloves, but I don't really feel like I need it. I mean, I already have a crazy amount of crushing blow that I'm dealing anyways, so these actually might be better than blood gloves just for the little bit of fire damage, for the convenience of not having to use Demon Limb and stuff like that. Even though, I mean, that's not really a big deal by any means. One thing I like about this build though is if I'm doing Ubers or something like that on Players 1, I don't even have to, like I did Ubers last night, I don't even have to proc my fade. With this, literally, I only need mana potions for when Bale's sitting there and like mana draining. This of course is not going to take enemies out as fast as Grief is. But at the same time, this could also be more safe than Grief because of the blinding targets, but because of, you know, just this massive amount of resistances, and then having Fade proccing sometimes from your sword. And then I could go with Chains of Honor instead of Fortitude, and I would get even more resistances. But I mean, these resistances are nuts. I mean, I had some, oh, I guess when the Fades proc, I have like 300 something, like 350 of all res, which is just kind of crazy to me. I think the Barbarian can stack the most resistances up. Paladin maybe, but
I can't carry anymore.
I think the Barbarian might have the Paladin beat in that category. I put this belt on, I put String of Ears on simply because you can get decrepified and you can still get fucked by physical damage. But aside from that, it feels like you're invincible. Alright, I'm gonna cut to the Bale waves and Bale so you can see that, and then I'll play a little cows with this build and show you that as well. Just to show you, with the enchant from the gloves, it's only about 2,000, around 2,000 less attack rating, which isn't really a massive deal. And then the resistances are like 320, 340, 331. Pretty good resistances, I'd say. And the damage isn't super crazy, but you have to keep in mind I do have a lot of crushing blow. Like I got, you know, 65% crushing blow on the sword, and then another 15 on this. So I mean, I'm getting crushing blow almost every single time I hit with this. Another thing I might mention, I didn't even realize it until yesterday, that I almost rolled a perfect enhanced damage last wish, which is pretty crazy. And there goes the enchant going off again. So I mean, it just goes to show you're getting the enchant to proc fairly often on these gloves, even though it's only a 2% chance. There it goes again. You're hitting so often that it's gonna happen. Alright, here we are at the Bale waves. Have a feeling that buddy over here, Mr. Cord, is gonna die from the Hydras on the next round. I like using the Lawbringer on him for the decrep, but I think if I'm doing a different type of farming or anything like that, I think I might actually throw Voice of Reason or something on. Maybe Voice of Reason, or maybe even a Crescent Moon on the mercenary when I'm in cows. Maybe Voice of Reason so that I can get, I don't know, I actually, since he seems to swing and miss a lot, I might not do Voice of Reason. I might do Crescent Moon so he can cast that static field. This is where the Merc dies, even though I'm gonna heal him as much as I can. I probably honestly need full rejuice. He's just gonna stand in the middle of the Hydras. Yep, told you. I told you. I honestly don't need him for Diablo. Like, it would be cool to get decrep on him or whatever, but for the sake of showing the full effect of the sword, probably better that I just play it through without him. Leave him on the bench. One thing that kind of annoys me about these larger packs of enemies is sometimes your character gets stuck in place and it's like he just spins around, he can't even attack because it's like they got him with his hands up. That kind of annoys me when that happens. It's definitely best to be walking when you're like surrounded by these enemies like that. I like these Poison Novas from the Carrion Wind though. It just adds to the vibe, might I say. And yeah, grief kills a little bit faster, but I mean, I don't know, maybe if you're playing on hardcore or something, you want the extra survivability. But then it could also be argued that survivability is also being able to kill faster, so I mean, that's how I see it on my assassin, because she's just weak in the ass in terms of resistances and stuff, so the assassin could benefit from this silence as well. I think the silence could really help out my assassin. So I mean, that's one thing that I do a lot. I like to swap my weapons around between characters, and I like to think when I make a certain rune word or something, you know, how many of my characters can benefit from it. Honestly, if I was farming Bale for the sake of efficiency, I probably would use an assassin or a Amazon just for the sake of not missing my attacks. Because you do a lot of swinging and missing with melee characters, like whether it's this or a zealot or whatever, you're gonna be doing a little bit of missing.
I am overburdened.
Wow, that was a delayed sound effect. That was a delayed sound effect. Definitely gonna be giving away this Q Hagens. Here we are over at Cal's. Decided to tweak a couple of the things. I put Voice of Reason on him for the cannot be frozen, as well as just being able to freeze enemies and stuff like that. Hopefully he doesn't miss too many of his attacks. Treachery. I actually would put Ariet's face on him.
I'll put that to good use. I'll put that to good use.
I wonder what his attack rating is, because you can't really see his attack rating. But I'll give him Ariet's face, and I'll go with G-face, just for the sake of doing more damage to the cows with the crushing blow and a little bit more strength and deadly strike and all that. Because I don't really need the resistances as bad. So yeah, I'll make that. Whoa, the cow didn't want me to make the portal in his ass, but I'm still gonna do it. Alright, here we go. Let's see, between the twisters, between all the different things, let's see how this works. Ooh, look, he's got some. Looks like the Crescent Moon, I mean the Voice of Reason isn't that bad on the mercenary. I've seen a couple frozen orbs come out. I love those twisters. I really like the Carrion Wind. I feel like that's really a slept-on ring. I mean, but you don't really see a whole lot of them taking off and running off screen or anything like that. Like, look how they're blinded, and it's like they're just sitting there stupefied. They're in La La Land. Oh man. Yeah, so I don't know. The mercenary may just not really be all that good for cows. He's just gonna get killed when we get involved with those big packs. This build's actually doing better than I thought it would in cows for the sake of, you know, just all the blinding. It's like the cows are just, it just turns them really dumb. So yeah, this is, I guess I'll call this the blinding barbarian because he's got dual wield with 2 weapons that blind the enemies, and they're pretty much always getting blinded. So yeah, I hope maybe this was helpful or insightful to somebody who was maybe thinking about making a silence phase blade or a silence berserker axe or silence whatever. I think maybe in the future, I think I'm gonna maybe make another barbarian and make him use weapons that are berserker axes or something. I'm actually kind of getting tired of using the pit zerker, so I might actually respec that character into something else. But then again, I mean, I have so many pieces of gear for that character, whether it's the 6-disted phase blade or whether it's, you know, the grief that he has, or the, you know, the Shaco with the Shamroon in it. So I mean, I might as well keep that character. Maybe just over time build up another barbarian, another frenzy barbarian with berserker axes instead of swords. But I mean, it's not going to really change the gameplay experience too much. And arguably phase blades are better than the axes for the simple fact that you don't have to repair them all the time. Because I mean, frenzy is a really fast attack and it breaks weapons pretty quick. Same thing for zeal on a paladin. So I mean, or even just zeal in general. If you make what's that weapon with zeal on it? The rune word that has zeal. If you make that, you're gonna have to repair the weapon a whole lot. I don't even remember the name of the rune word. I know it's Dol or Eld Lim. Passion, I think it is. I think it's passion. But yeah, I hope everybody has a great day, and hopefully the 19th we get this new PTR with all the balance changes and everything.